Business owners who are the most successful use technology and time differently than most. If you're struggling with all of the clutter of social media, SEO, blogging, and podcasting offers, consider a new and dynamic marketing platform. At eFlexonics, we create interactive digital magazines for your event, business, or trade show. Don't allow your competition to affect your business growth. eFlexonics can handcraft your own web radio and web TV experience, as well as professionally narrate your entire magazine and turn it into a downloadable web radio series. Join Rick Holland and Wendy Burge in this 4-part series discussing how to recognize and share your business with others. Wendy, tell me in your mind what, casual conversation, what benefits do you think we'll get for our customers, potential customers, the people out there, the people who are struggling in the business, with an interactive digital magazine? What do you think the benefits are?
Oh, I think there's a number of them. The first one is that you have the space and time to be more dynamic with how you display what you know. Instead of having just a linear conversation of here's what I can do now, you can showcase featured key points of things that you can do for people, specific problem solution results.
Like how-to stuff.
How-to stuff. You could have some audio clips of talking so people can hear you, even if you aren't in front of their faces. If somebody says, oh, you know, I was just reading this article, you can build your brand expertise by having a format that exhibits you kind of more comprehensively. So video, audio, written word, because the thing is if you aren't in front of somebody's face to face, the next most relevant piece of that sphere of how do I connect would be video. If I can see you, then I can relate to you. I can see your body language. I can see your sound. If I can't see your body language, the next step out of that sphere becomes audio. Well, right now, as much as I'm a huge fan of email marketing, not in some of the traditional ways, but as a way of, it's the primary inbox channel that I know that if somebody signs up to my list, I've been given permission to stay in contact with them, and I make it more conversational. Imagine if you could embed audio now and you could put some video in, and you aren't having to drive traffic over to one website like YouTube channel, and you have to drive to your website to a podcast. You could bring everything all together. One place. And because the magazine is set up for mobility reading, it makes it way more convenient that people can spend some more quality time, and it has a different look and feel than if I'm having to scroll through a website.
Yes.
So website viewing, statistically, I think you have less than 3 seconds to capture somebody's attention. But if you have a magazine, you have the capacity to put imagery in, which is what people connect to first thing. If there's some really nice photo images of you, especially if you're the expert, you're putting more of your own personal brand and expertise. So you've got some nice headshots done. Brand, yeah. And I mean, you have used it for advertisement, or you've put it for other marketing pieces that you have. We often end up with a bulk of images or things that we've done at different events, but they kind of get lost in feeds if you've got it on blogs. They split over. They get lost on pages unless somebody's willing to sit there and scroll back through it. At least if it's in a magazine format, they can skim the content right at the beginning and say, oh, you went to that event, and you could do a whole 6 months of what you've been doing and roll it into a magazine, and now you have more of a comprehensive look of how you operate within your business or who your business serves.
One point of contact.
Yeah, basically one point. So I think, after our conversations, there's a place for everything, but I think the way people are taking in information anymore, it's more dynamic. I was laughing because there was an ad on the TV last night, and it was about you can now watch TV on your mobile devices in the park. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, nobody goes to the park to play anymore. You're going to go to the park and watch TV. So we take this stuff with us anymore. Advertisements for people to lay in bed and read off their iPads to read magazines. And now you can have magazine subscription, not to the magazine, but to these platforms that have multiple magazines.
Yes.
So it's how we are now taking information in is more robust than we used to, and it's always accessible. Websites aren't always going to be accessible. You can't download a website.
There's the key, but you can send the magazine anyway.
You can send a magazine, you can download the magazine. some of the components that you talked about was, which I really liked, is that I still like print. I like direct mail and print. If you're going to put marketing money into anything, you should still be able to mail out, because people still like that tangible stuff. At least you're cost effective mailing it something that's to somebody that's on your list. You have as a client base. Well, if you've got your magazine, you and I had talked about, you can actually specifically print certain pages or cover pages and content pages, wrap it up and say, hey, here you go, did you know? And you've got this thing where you can have a physical touch point that has a digital and more dynamic experience on the back end. And then they have this accessibility factor that's like, it meets where we're at technology-wise, and I think this is light years ahead of a lot of businesses, because I still run into businesses that don't even have websites.
Exactly. Well, you know the Coffee News, right? You seen that pamphlet?
Oh, yeah, Coffee News.
What a great little newsletter. Oh, and they're killing it.
And
they're really doing
in every community. It's actually a franchise.
Yes.
Which is really interesting. So the franchise owner really gets to know their vendors of where they're placing this little magazine in, and they manage it. And it's one of the nice things to see that it's still out there, but wouldn't it be cool if somebody could also have it via mobile device? You could sit back, and it touches on all the fun things. Like, it still has the astrology, it still has the jokes of the the riddles,
entertainment.
And the entertainment, it has an entertainment piece. It's interactive in the sense that you're like, oh, I know that person. Like, I'll pick them up, and my game is, how many people do I know advertising on it? Because I network so much, and I think I got up to like 6 people I knew on the. I flipped it. I'm like, I know them. I know that person. I know. Then I thought, why am I not in here?
The neat part about a magazine like this is you can print, if somebody needs a flyer like the Coffee News, you can print the front page of your magazine, and then on the back, put the coupons or what's in the magazine, a synopsis, and keep that as a one-page flyer to hand out for people that absolutely have to have a physical medium.
Physical.
But normally you don't need to, but it's nice to have that one-page flyer, like print off 30 or 40, and that might last a couple months.
Well,
people come
imagine it's in a lot of businesses, they do trade shows. So what a great way to have as a sign-up feature, as a way in exchange for an email address, is sign up for our digital magazine.
Yes.
Here's a printed version. Here's the front page. You can flip it over. Here's the kind of stuff you're going to find in this magazine. That holds high value for people, and it's not even a perceived value, because it is truly high value that they're not having to go log in again. They don't have, it's just right there for them. And if that would be a great marketing tool in that sense, if you're doing trade shows.
And you and I are going to be hitting trade shows hot and heavy. As a matter of fact, you and I are putting together a remote broadcast radio station that we will go. No.
You're letting the cats out of the bag.
The cat's out of the bag already because nobody's doing it. It's a ton of work. Radio stations and TV stations will never approach this because it's cost prohibitive for them. They have to have a building, they have to have their equipment, they have to have their staff. They can't do it. Yep. So you and I are going to go in there to trade shows, to events, and we're going to build magazines around events and invite them to build community around the magazine and around each other.
Yeah.
And nobody markets alone. Oh, that should be our slogan somehow.
Nobody markets alone.
Nobody markets alone.
No. Yeah. No, that's a good one. I'm glad you recorded that. You better write it down.
What did I just say?
Nobody markets alone. And that's the thing. I mean, what is the first thing you learn when you finally understand about business? When you really start getting it, you realize that to leverage business requires networks of people.
Yep.
What's the first thing that like the reason they make you, or they talk about you must go network, you got to go find joint venture partners. It's because if you don't have that leverage, you are never going to get your business off the ground.
You're done. Yeah.
You need referral partners. You need joint venture partners. You need networks. And what did I just tell you before we started this? Your net worth is in your network.
Yep.
And if you do not know how to love that network, because that is your meal ticket, you're crazy to let them go. You're crazy, because most of us businesses stop and don't even take account that the network that we're building of people that are called our customers and prospects, that's our bread and butter.
Yes.
And I've had people come to me and say, oh, I had a huge email list. I let it go. A business coach told me to let them go. They said email marketing's dead.
Oh, I just about threw up. How can you say that now?
I said,
I want to take away your cell phone for 1 week and you can't use it.
Oh, no, you know what I said? I said, oh, that's like tailing a retail store. I'm going to lock the door and let everybody stare in.
Yes.
But you can't come in now.
Yes.
I'm not going to let you buy my stuff. Yeah. And I said, that is just, oh my gosh, that about sent me through the roof, because I'm a relationship marketing specialist. I look at how can we continue to enhance the relationship. And we've talked about this when you've interviewed me before. It is our jobs to educate our consumer how to buy and use our services. And that doesn't happen in one conversation.
That's right.
That happens in multiple conversations. In fact, the people who figured this out the best are 30-minute infomercials.
Yeah.
They figured it out. You need more information from me. This 30-second crap's not going to cut it. Even a minute's not going to cut it. I need you to sit down for 30 minutes and you will be pulling your credit card. I can't even tell you how many late night things I've done. I'm like, I maybe need that.
Isn't that funny?
It is ridiculous. I think maybe it's a chemical thing in the
Listen to my half-hour impulse buys presentation.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the whole thing. It's you got to capture the audience, and then you need to really understand them. And because most of the business models that have been running around and cycling around for so long really are this rotating more is better, more. Right. And the fact of the matter is, if every business owner had 100 really great clients, and you even applied the 80-20 rule to that, we would be laughing. We would be doing so well. And you have them. You just aren't taking very good care of them. Imagine if you're somebody who has a large network and you are a service, what kind of things could you do back for them that you could elevate your service back to them? Even if you went in and created your own magazine and said, here's the network of people in my business. If you're a consultant, if you're a healer and you're involved with some of the healing groups, if you're an artist in an artist group, collectively, like you just said, marketing, you're not marketing alone. It's within your network. Add the value that you're adding back to people's lives is actually the new mantra for business. How am I adding value to your life?
Yes.
How am I adding value to your life? It's no more about win and lose. It's about win-win. It's really, the model for business has really changed.
Oh my goodness.
In the last, I'd say, even as short as 5 years. 5 years.
Sure.
It has radically
Put it on its
changed.
head. The triangle is flipped upside
down.
And
and it's because of technology. It's because of our ability to interact with each other. Right before I got here, I was telling you I was delayed because I had to do an emergency with my mom-in-law. And we're sitting in the doctor's office, and he's actually saying, you can text me if you have any questions. Who does that? Like, this is so dynamically new to stay in touch with young professionals. Yeah. They're used to it. Like, he was a young doctor. So I'm finding younger professionals that I meet, they're used to this kind of stuff, and it doesn't bother them.
And they get it.
They get it. They understand. They really get. It doesn't bother them to text. Yeah. Old school, like you and me, and even a little older. Nope, do not call me between 6 and 8. I'm off on weekends. Like, we had some really different structure boundaries around our time and work. That's really blurred now. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, and that's a whole other conversation. However, the accessibility and the impact that you can have within your network by bringing more people, bringing more value, by showing up and saying, I'm going to offer you better service by giving you great content, giving you dynamic mediums such as video and audio and downloadable print.
So we can include in our magazine that we're going to put together, we can include articles, editorials, videos, and audio podcasts or radio, web radio about how important your email marketing list is. Oh, and then another section about how to do this, and another section about business. It would be a wonderful business tool.
Magazine. It'd be a great business magazine.
Great business tool.
An awesome magazine. And because there are just something, like I don't know about most people, but I find it really funny. And I do work with a lot of professional organizers. One of the things that people collect are magazines. How many magazines do you hang on to? I have magazines that I haven't gotten rid of because I'm always thinking, I want to go back and read articles. I want to read things. So if you think about putting your best content together in a magazine, nobody's going to delete it.
Yeah.
It's like I collect ebooks. I'm like I don't have a physical library anymore. I've got like volumes of ebook libraries. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Thank God they don't take up space on it other than on a disk or something. But what I like about it is that it's my go-to. I won't ever get rid of it because even if I know that a lot of ebooks are utilized as marketing tools,
Yes.
it's good content. And they're on. I do a lot of reading and writing. I do a lot of copywriting and stuff. And there is some stuff that's just, it's really poorly written, and it does the person a disservice, if anything, because you really want that to read well. But for the most part, a lot of them they're really good content, and you don't want to just use it once for a freebie. You don't want to just use it once as a one-off piece because now you're trying to do another launch.
You want to repurpose it.
You want to repurpose it, and you want it to have a purpose.